back at it again, and woo, have some fireworks been flying over the past 24 hours, as I'm sure most of you know already. So we gotta discuss it. We have to. So we gotta talk about Kevin McCarthy and the Speaker of the House vote that went down yesterday. Now, I've got like 3 videos, possibly 4. We'll see how long this video is that I want to jump into with you guys. So grab a drink, a snack of your choice, kick back, relax, and like, share, comment. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Make sure you're following me on social media too. And with that being said, let's dive in. Now, I've got a video first here with Matt Gaetz, and then we're going to jump into a Marjorie Taylor Greene video that I've got for you guys. Now, Matt Gaetz is one of the Republicans that voted no to Kevin McCarthy yesterday. Now, yesterday they went through 3 rounds of voting. 3. Not 1, not 2, but 3 whole rounds of voting. First round, it was a total shock because, and I didn't even know this until I was doing my research and kept scrolling through videos and listening to different things, but it's been 100 years since that has happened, that the speaker wasn't chosen on the first vote. 100 years. So, of course, I'm sure everybody expected, a few Republicans, to say, no, not voting for you. But most Republicans there, I'm sure, expected Kevin McCarthy to pull through. He didn't. Not only did he not pull through on the first round, he didn't pull through on the second. And obviously, like I said earlier, he ain't pulled through on the third either. Very, very interesting. And Matt Gaetz had something to say about it. But then also Marjorie Taylor was in support of Kevin McCarthy. So we're going to have 2 contrasting individuals here. Let's jump into it.
Those of us who will not be voting for Kevin McCarthy today take no joy in this discomfort that this moment has brought. But if you want to drain the swamp, you cannot put the biggest alligator in charge of the exercise. I'm a Florida man and I know of what I speak. We offered Kevin McCarthy terms last evening that he rejected. We sought a vote in the first quarter of the 118th Congress on term limits. He refused. We wanted a budget from the Republican Study Committee that balances on the floor in the first quarter. He refused. We wanted the border plan that the Texas delegation put together on the floor. He refused. And it is true that we struggle with trust with Mr. McCarthy because time and again, his viewpoints, his positions, they shift like sands underneath you. Even Kevin McCarthy's own mentor recently said that the lies always change. And Mr. McCarthy is not only responsive to pressure from the right. Time and again, he has failed to achieve the goals that we seek on spending and on the fight. For months, we have been asking Mr. McCarthy for his battle plan. How do we ensure that we stand up for folks in the military who feel like they're being purged? How do we ensure that if there's the passage of a farm bill, it includes things like work requirements? And all we got was a handful of howdy and a mouthful of much obliged. So we do not want to be here at this moment. We would prefer to have a unity of purpose, but we will not continue to allow the uniparty to run this town without a fight. There's very little difference between Nancy Pelosi and her California delegation mate that seeks the gavel. And we want to change because this town is broken. And this is a person who has acknowledged in Mr. McCarthy that the town is broken, and he has been a part of that process for many years as a member of the leadership. We'll take some questions.
Let me ask the 3 of you a question here. So let me just clarify something here. Based on your remarks, Ms. Wilbert's remarks, and Mr. Perry's remarks, are you saying because we took things to this brink in the 11th hour right before the Speaker's vote, he is unqualified to be Speaker? In other words, a Speaker, a leader, would have worked this out a long time ago.
Well, yeah, I reject the premise of the question. We did not take this to the brink. For many months, we have been presenting these ideas to Mr. McCarthy, and we have gotten strung along, and only on New Year's Eve did we see changes to the rules. And what's interesting about the meeting we just had is our colleagues broadly celebrated rules changes that many of us had been fighting for to ensure that we had an opportunity to read the bills before voting on them so that we did not get log rolled with multiple pieces of legislation put together that don't have the same subject, so that we had germanity rules, so things like the National Defense Authorization Act wouldn't be amended onto a water infrastructure bill. And we did not get timely responses from Mr. McCarthy. We did not get substantive responses from Mr. McCarthy because I think he thought that just by going on your network and others that he would browbeat us into submission to the swamp. And we're not going to do that.
So there you have it from Matt Gaetz. And listen, I don't necessarily disagree with him. I think making sure that you have time to read through these bills before they are passed and not just having the bill like the omnibus that just went through not very long ago. You remember, guys, where they dropped it literally 24 hours before they were supposed to vote on it, like 500 pages, as if anybody was going to even have an opportunity, even if they wanted to read through that. And not only that, you drop it right before the holidays, right before everybody is ready to leave. So either, hey, you stay up and read this all 24 hours, or just vote to pass it so you can go home. What? So I definitely agree with him. And the fact that Kevin just sat back and was like, you know what? It's been 100 years. Nah, like he said, you can't drain the swamp and then hire the biggest alligator to do it for you. Hey, what do y'all think though? Let's check out Marjorie Taylor Greene and what she had to say about it.
Well, so we've been having our discussions. And sorry, you want to go by?
Yeah. Just a little bit.
Okay.
Behind you.
Sure. Okay, thank you. For months, we have been negotiating, talking, debating back and forth in our conference, trying to come to a really good rules package, and it's amazing. As a matter of fact, I'll quote Matt Gaetz. He said it's exquisite. That's what he said on our conference call on Sunday. But in that conference meeting there, we found out that there were several members, 3 in fact, that went in last night and were demanding positions for themselves, demanding gavel positions, demanding subcommittees, demanding for people to be taken off committees and people to be put on committees. Three Republicans out of our 222. I want you all to know I have not done that for myself. The only thing I have done is debate and request and argue amongst my peers for the right things, for the rules package and for our agenda for the American people. And that's the only thing I've done. I haven't asked for one thing for myself, and I'm the only Republican that has 0 committees. So you would think I would be the one in there asking for something, but I haven't done that. But I find out that it's my Freedom Caucus colleagues and my supposed friends that went and did that, and they asked nothing for me. Nothing. That's what I found out in there. I'm furious. Well, let me tell you something. While the conservatives that the base supports and believes in, let me remind everyone, they're not perfect either. Scott Perry, before his general election, refused to vote against the bill that was all about the gay marriage bill. He didn't. He refused to vote against it. He voted for it. Then when it came back around after his election, he was able to vote against it. Conservatives would not like that. Let me remind everyone that.
Hold on, Marjorie. And listen, I want to say this because sometimes people have a distorted view of things when, there's disagreement. For the most part, I've liked Marjorie Taylor Greene. I haven't had anything bad to say about her. So simply because I'm disagreeing at this point doesn't mean that I think she's a bad person. With that being said, I'm sure you guys can guess where I'm going with this. I've got to disagree with her. We see Democrats doing that kind of stuff all the time. They play the game so they can get in position. And once they're in position, they change their stance so they can change the game. Right? What have I always said in these videos, especially more recently? Play the game to win. Once you win, then you can make sure the game never has to be played again. But you got to win. And if that means, hey, Democrats, how you doing? By the way, I'm kind of on your side. I agree with you guys. If that means it's what you got to do to get in position, the way that I see it, they've done it to us. Why not do it back? win the game. Once you get in position, you make sure the game never has to be played again. Maybe I'm wrong for that. I want to win, though. I'm tired of watching Republicans lose. I'm tired of watching it. But I got more to say after this. I'm gonna let Marjorie Taylor finish. You guys can let me know your thoughts and opinions on what I had to say there in the comment section. Am I a complete idiot? Maybe I am. Maybe I am. I can own that. Maybe I'm completely wrong on it. You guys know I'm not like the kind of person who feels like I'm always right on everything and there's no possible way that I can be wrong. I understand anything and everything that I say, I could be wrong on. So if you feel that I'm wrong, let me know why in the comment section, or let me know why I'm not wrong.
Yes, Matt Gaetz, who has compared Kevin McCarthy to Paul Ryan, my friend Matt Gaetz, he supported Paul Ryan almost more than anyone. It's still on his social media. As a matter of fact, his first vote in Congress was for Paul Ryan as Speaker. And then he cheered him on for nearly a year and a half or more when people like me were at home furious at Paul Ryan's speakership because it wasn't passing the MAGA agenda that we all supported. Chip Roy, he refused to object on January 6th. That's not what our base wanted. He also set out the vote for the January 6th committee. There's many more. Bob Good, $2 million from Kevin McCarthy to get elected. Lauren Boebert, under $2 million from Kevin McCarthy to get elected. Many more people have taken Kevin McCarthy's money to get elected, and then there's a few of them that don't want to support him as Speaker. So imagine that. This is not anything about the country. This is all about never Kevin. They just don't like Kevin McCarthy. And you cannot be successful in anything if you aren't able to walk in a room, make what you want, and get a deal done, and then walk away with the W and get to work and not worry about who you like and who you don't like. This is not about prom king. This is not about a pastor. This is about electing a person to sit in the speaker chair so that we can all get to work. And out of 222 Republicans, let me remind everyone, there's 218 votes to get something passed. That means all of us are powerful, every single faction in the Republican Party. So there's not going to be a tiny little group that is going to demand their way because they want subcommittee chairs and they want certain power positions. That is not how this works. And that is the worst thing they could do for the country. And I'm furious over it, and I'm going to continue calling them out. We will be fighting this out, and we'll see what happens.
So, yeah, you heard what Marjorie Taylor Greene had to say about that, and I gotta say I disagree again. She mentioned something about people like Lauren Boebert taking money from McCarthy. And just because you take money from somebody doesn't mean that you automatically are like hamstringed to them. I can not like you and take a donation from you and, thanks. Now you've put me in a better position to make sure that you're out of yours. Play the game. It all comes back to playing the game. Play the game. I've talked about it time and time again, and we've watched Democrats, and I've pointed it out whenever I've seen Democrats doing it, so everybody recognizes, hey, there's the game. That's what I mean when I say play the game. You see what they're doing? That's exactly what I mean. Play the game. If that's what Lauren Boebert was doing in that moment, which it kind of seems like it, hey, I don't really like Kevin McCarthy. I don't like what he's doing. I don't think he's the right guy to lead the party. And listen, I don't think that he is. We know Mitch McConnell isn't. I've said that, and just about every single one of you have agreed. I mean, the guy has a 7% approval rating. Not only that, but Kevin McCarthy's approval rating amongst just people that, you know, I've looked into online, or, you know, read post online, not looked into, but, you know, read post online and, you know, read through the comment sections and things. Most voters don't like Kevin McCarthy either. So why are we so quick to just push him in that position? Think about this, right? Think about this. So in 2022, Democrats and Republicans alike had every reason, had 1,001 reasons to not vote for Democrats and vote for Republicans. Had 1,001 reasons. I mean, you name it. They had one reason to vote for Democrats. One. And that's only according to some folks. You know, the abortion issue, Roe v. Wade. One. Democrats had one thing to lean on. One. Lost the Senate, barely won the House. Barely. Now, granted, it's a W. It's a W. It is. Technically, that is a win. Technically. But come on. 1,001 to 1 and you barely win the House? Really? Really? Now, technically, it is a W. I do want to acknowledge that. But that's about as close to an L as you could possibly get. The way that I see it, it's basically an L for Republican leadership. If you were to perform that well at your job, whatever occupation you work at, if you had everything in your favor and you just barely pulled through, just barely, in the nick of time, just by the skin of your teeth, do you think your boss is going to be very happy about that? Your boss expected that project or whatever else to be done a week ago, and you just got it done. You barely turned it in, and it's barely legible. You know, like most people would probably be fired. But we're not supposed to fire Kevin? Why? Why? Is it because he deserves that position? And this leads into another point as well. The fact that he is so staunch and like, I deserve this position, basically, is kind of off-putting to me. Like, it's kind of weird, you know? Like, maybe I'm wrong, but that kind of, you know, kind of pushes me away a little bit. Like, why do you want this so bad? And why is everybody, all of these other Republicans, just so quick to throw your hat in the ring? I've watched politicians do that before, and it never seems to be a good thing. When everybody is just like, oh, yep, this is what we're supposed to do. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene just said it there at the end. This is not how we're supposed to do things. Well, clearly how you guys have been doing things hasn't been that great. Hasn't been that great. So, like, let's try something a little bit different here. Now, let me say this as well, and I probably should have said this at the beginning. I don't want to see Hakeem Jeffries as Speaker. That is no. Make no mistake about it. I don't want to see any Democrat as Speaker and any Republican that votes for any Democrat to be Speaker, including Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert, the guys and the gals that are basically voting no to Kevin McCarthy. Lauren Boebert, Matt Gaetz are some of those people. If they vote for a Democrat, you will be hearing from me. I don't care how much I like you in the moment. If you do something stupid, I'm going to call you out on it. All right? Let's make that clear. I don't want any confusion. So are you saying that you would vote for Hakeem Jeffries? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So just to clear the air of that. But I personally don't think Kevin's the guy. I think we need someone new. And in yesterday's vote, after the first round, in the second round, Jim Jordan's name was brought up. And I want to show you guys part of this speech from Jim Jordan. I know this video is running kind of long. Sorry to be long-winded, but this was an important topic of discussion here today. And I want to play some of this speech that Jim Jordan gave because, you know, first off, he doesn't even want to be Speaker, which is part of the reason why I feel like he should be Speaker. There was a video that we checked out from Thomas Sowell. He spoke about the same kind of thing. You know, maybe sometimes the best leader is somebody who doesn't necessarily even want to be the leader. Some of the people that want to be in that position may not be the best ones. Let's jump into this clip.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Ohio seek recognition?
I rise to nominate Kevin McCarthy for Speaker of the House.
Humble as ever. All right, guys, settle down. Sheesh.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I think we have three objectives this Congress. Three fundamental things we have to get done in the 118th Congress. First, pass the bills that fix the problems. In 2 years' time, we have a border that is no longer a border. We have a military that can't meet its recruitment goals. We have bad energy policy, bad education policy, record spending, record inflation, record debt, and a government that has been weaponized against we the people, against the very people we represent. So we need to pass legislation to address all that. And I hope my Democrat colleagues will join me. I really do. But I have my doubts. And if they don't, and if Chuck Schumer says, no, we're not going to take up that legislation that we pass, and if Joe Biden won't sign it, so be it. They'll have to answer to the people in 2024. Second, we can never, ever let a bill like the one that passed 12 days ago, $1.7 trillion spent, we can never, ever let that kind of legislation pass again.
Look at this snake, Kevin, standing up as if he wasn't a part of it. Jeez.
We have to pass a budget that makes sense, that's good common sense, then do the 12 appropriation bills that recognize it's the people's money, not ours. And send it to the Senate, and then stand firm on that legislation. And again, if they won't take it up and Joe Biden won't sign it, we can stand firm on a CR or something. We can have that fight, but we are not going to have what took place a week and a half ago ever happen again. And then finally, third, and this is important, we got to do the oversight, do the investigations. We have to do the oversight and the investigations that need to be done. This idea that bureaucrats who never put their name on a ballot but think they run the country, who have assaulted our constituents' First Amendment liberties, they need to be held accountable. That has to happen. We need to do it. We need to do it in a way that's consistent with the Constitution, but we need to do it vigorously and aggressively. That is part of our duty as members of this body. To my friends here on this side of the aisle, I would just say this. The differences we may have, the differences between Joyce and Jordan or Biggs and Bacon, they pale in comparison to the differences between us and the left, which now unfortunately controls the other party. So we had better come together and fight for these key things, these three things. That's what the people want us to do. And I think Kevin McCarthy is the right guy to lead us. I really do, or I wouldn't be standing up here giving this speech. I came in with Kevin. We came in the same time 16 years ago. We haven't always agreed on everything, but I like his fight, I like his tenacity, and I like the I remember Kevin told me, I actually wrote about this in a book. I remember Kevin told me, he said, when the toughest times in life are when you get knocked down, the question is, can you come back? And I've always seen him be able to do that. We need to rally around him, come together, and deal with these three things, because this is what the people sent us here to do. My favorite scripture verse is 2 Timothy 4:7. Paul's the old guy giving advice to the young guy, and he says, fight the good fight, finish the course, keep the faith. I like the verse because it's a verse of action. Fight, finish, keep. Not wimpy words, words that I think fit America. That's what the American people want us to do. They want us to fight for the things they care about and they elected us to do. And we should all remember, only about 12,000 people have ever had the opportunity to do what we're doing today, sit in this body, serve in this Congress. It is a privilege. It is an opportunity. We owe it to them, the American people, the good people of this great country, to step forward, to come together, get a speaker elected so we can address these three things. I hope you'll vote for Kevin McCarthy, and that's why I'm proud to nominate him for Speaker of the House.
Now you tell me, did that sound like somebody that could be leader? Did that sound like a man with a plan? Sounded like somebody to me. Somebody humble. I'm not going to even throw myself in the ring. Even though Matt Gaetz, probably Lauren Boebert, they've all told me that I'm their guy. I'm not going to throw myself. Kevin, you're the guy. Sounds like somebody who I wouldn't mind leading, personally. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Jim, maybe he'd be a terrible leader. Maybe. I could be wrong. Definitely could be. But what do y'all think? And who do you think should be Speaker of the House? Should it be Kevin? Or should Matt Gaetz and company hold the line? should they stand firm until Kevin gives up? And once he does, or if he does, who should take his place? Should it be Jim Jordan? Or shall it be someone else? Do you think there is any possible way a Democrat could be pushed out there? Do you think enough Republicans would say, you know what? Eat it. Hakeem going out there. You think that's a possibility? Let me know in the comment section below. Like, share, comment. Hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.